TE Connectivity's ambient lighting products applications. Using gentle ambient lighting inside their vehicles is a trend that not only makes the cabin nicer, but could increase safety and consumer perceptions about the quality of the car. Some of our major customers are Fiat Chrysler Automotive, General Motors, Ford, Toyota, BMW, Nissan, and Honda. Safety. Safety precautions should be followed at all times when operating the lighting areas. Safety glasses, safety shoes, heat protection sleeves, heat protection gloves, and filter masks are required in some of the working areas. 5S+1. During the shift startup, 5S checks should be carried out per work instruction. Ensure necessary items are present to get the job done. Items should be placed in their proper location per work instructions. Autonomous maintenance. Autonomous work instructions provide the instructions to ensure good working condition of the equipment before starting application. These critical checks should be performed during every shift startup. It prevents interruption in production and increases productivity. ESD. Electrostatic discharge, ESD, is a rapid transfer of static charge which occurs when objects at different electric potential make contact. Often, these sparks occur in such low scale that we can't see it or feel it. But while we may not notice it ourselves, many electronic devices are so sensitive that they can be damaged just from these tiny sparks. In such ESD events, when charged particles jump from one object to another, they can break a trace or cause a short circuit, both of which can cause a part to fail. Even if the part does not fail initially, these discharges can cause partial or latent damage that will shorten the life of the product by causing premature failure through normal use. TE Connectivity ESD protected areas are clearly marked. Before entering any ESD safe area, ESD equipment such as heel straps should be used. Each person entering an ESD safe area should check their equipment at a test station, and a log should be kept. Soldering process. A printed circuit board, PCB, mechanically supports and electronically connects electronic components using conductive tracks. PCB is built of the following components: positive and negative holes, which are used to provide connectivity with the PCB. Capacitor, which is used to store electrical energy temporarily in an electrical field. Resistor, which is used to regulate the flow of electrical current. LED, which emits light when activated. Soldering is a process in which two or more items are joined together by melting and placing a filler metal. Process setup. Key process parameters and conditions of the soldering machine need to be reviewed before the production phase. Some critical parameters are temperature, nitrogen level, N2 flow, flux atomizer, flux pressure. Inspection plan, QIP, should be used to record all values required. Production process. The operator takes the PCBs carefully from the tray. Each PCB is set into the pallet cavity according to the position indicated on the work instruction and locked in order to keep the PCBs in position. Once the pallet is filled, the operator places it onto the conveyor and moves it to the next step. The pallet is carefully taken from the conveyor and placed into the workstation for circuit assembly operation. The operator places black circuits into the negative hole on each PCB. It is very important that the wire is fully inserted into the PCB hole. Wire strands should not be seen outside of the PCB hole. Once all of the wires are correctly seated in the PCBs, the operator should route each wire into the string pallet. The wire should be curved in order to keep it in a fixed position. Previous operation is repeated, but now with the red wires placed into the positive hole on each PCB. Once all the red wires are properly routed into the string pallet, the operator places the pallet carefully into the soldering conveyor. Inside the soldering machine, PCBs are sprayed with flux on the wire strand sections in order to have a good solder. Once the flux is applied, the soldering nozzle moves to the wire strand section in order to solder them. After soldering is applied, the pallet is inspected for each PCB soldering condition. Good PCBs are placed into the blue bin for the next process. Critical quality characteristics. When visually inspected, a good solder joint will appear smooth and shiny. Some of the common soldering defects are soldering bridges. This characteristic is presented when two soldering points form a bridge. This soldering condition provokes a short circuit condition and is not acceptable. Missing soldering. This characteristic means that the soldering is not properly applied onto the wire strand. Soldering accumulation. Excessive solder is not acceptable. Broken strand. If there is one or more strands broken, then the function of the part is not properly performed. Soldering peak is too close to the other soldering point. Even when this is not a bridge, it is shown that the soldering is very close to the other point, with a possibility to create an intermittent issue and malfunction of the part. Non-conforming reaction plan. Non-conforming product in each of the different operations should be handled properly and disposed of according to TE connectivity procedures. A red ticket should be filled out in order to indicate the defect found on the product, and the non-conforming part should be placed on the scrap bin. During the production process, if a component is dropped on the floor, the part should be placed on the scrap bin and registered in the proper formats. Light pipe cutting. Light pipe is used for distribution of light over its length. The beads help the light pipe to be assembled correctly into the carrier. Process setup. The operator selects the program for the correct part number to be produced and select the raw material to be used according to the work instruction. Production process. Light pipe is carefully placed onto the rail to start cutting and notching the light pipe. The light pipe is visually inspected for attributes, and an inspection board is used to inspect the part dimensionally. Then the first sample is released. A quality inspector validates the process by checking that the first sample complies according to QIP. First sample ID label is added. The cut light pipe is placed on the Good Cut Light Pipes bin. Critical quality characteristics. The following characteristics should be controlled to prevent malfunction of the part. Notch section is missing. Chipped light pipe. Bead portion not fully removed. Uneven cut. Light pipe with dimensions out of specification. Light pipe painting. Light pipe surface is printed to evenly distribute the light intensity along the length of the pipe. Printing equipment is programmed to print different patterns based on the customer's needs. Process setup for painting machine. Operator verifies the correct part number on the display and review that the containers have enough material to start production. Production process. Light pipe should be set into the rail into the printing machine. The start button is pressed in order to start with the printing process. Light pipe is verified for attributes by applying light. Also verified for printing alignment with a gauge. Accepted light pipes are placed into the printed light pipe bin. Critical quality characteristics. The following characteristics should be controlled to prevent malfunction of the part: damaged or missing pattern, ink spots, misaligned pattern, light pipe bending. The light pipe curvature is obtained by heating the light pipe and applying pressure using metal fixtures for a period of time. Light pipes are bent according to customer specifications and needs. Process setup. Part number should be selected from the display. Production process. A dark mark on one of the ends of the pipe is very important to prevent any light leakage. The light pipe is always put into the left section of the holder first, and then into the right section. Once the part is set up into the machine, the lamps will start to heat the light pipe to make it malleable and then placed into the plates to give it the shape required. Use of gauge is very important to determine if the part is according to customer requirements. Visual verification for attributes should be performed as well. After all quality checks are performed, the finished good is placed on the good parts bin ready for next process. Critical quality characteristics. Broken or cracked conditions are not acceptable. Cloudy pipe is also not acceptable. Light pipe with an incorrect shape is out of the gauge and will affect the functionality of the part. A lighting harness is made of the following components. Lens will transmit the light from LED. Housing helps to contain lens, PCB, and cover. Cover helps to protect the above components from any potential damage. Connector is used to assemble the circuits and interact with the mating part into the vehicle. Tubing helps to protect wires from any potential damage. Production process. Lens is assembled into the internal locks of the housing. PCB is assembled into the cover and then is assembled into the housing. ESD gloves are required on work instruction. Circuits insertion into the connectors by following the 4 steps method. Orientate, push, click, and pull. Add the tubing for wire protection. Light pipe insertion into connector should be using the fixtures. Hold the light pipe by applying tape. Dark ink mark should be added for prevention of light leakage. Electrical test. This is a key operation performed in order to ensure that the light intensity and the chromaticity are within specification. Also verifies for presence of components, inverted or missing circuits, and the dark mark on the light pipe. A successful test displays each test in green colors. Using a visual aid, an ID label is placed into the wire on the correct position. Inspection for attributes and for dimensions are applicable before packing the product. Indentation mark on the connector should be verified as evidence that the electrical test was performed. Packaging should be performed according to work instruction. TE Connectivity and the products we make strive for customer satisfaction and extraordinary customer experience through employee knowledge, employee empowerment, employee engagement.